What's up, Cougars? It's Miller.
And Ava.
And welcome back to another episode of Cougar News.
This year, the number of kids signed up for the 4-H is on the rise.
Over the last 4 years, the number of signups have risen 27%.
For any kids who want to participate in the 4-H fair, they need to be signed up and have their paperwork done by May 15th.
Daviess County Purdue Extension's youth educator, Wes Richardson, says it's not unusual for kids to start showing interest as school activities begin winding down in the spring.
Richardson predicts by the end of the year, the number will be closer to 300 participants.
To help spread the word, Richardson has gone to Washington, Bar Eve, Washington Catholic, and is working on reaching out to North Daviess.
You can sign up online at vs.4honline.com.
Now, let's switch gears and head over to another exciting episode of John Marco's Journey.
Hello guys, I'm John Marco Sabbioni and welcome back with this new episode about my Italian journey. I'm gonna show you some places in Italy that you must visit if you will travel to Europe. The first one is Milan. It's situated in the north side of Italy and is actually a very big city, probably the bigger one. It has two sides, the universities and work one, and the cultural side. If it can help you to make an idea, is the Wall Street of Italy, since there are a lot of businesses and stuff like that. The first monument is Duomo of Milan, is the most famous and is visited by millions of people. The second is Victor Emmanuel II Gallery, and it's actually beautiful. It's full of colors, glasses and paintings all over there. And there are a lot of shops and restaurants. So this is a picture of the business and university side of Milan, and there are a bunch of skyscrapers, not as big as Miami or New York, but it's something. Well, the second city is Florence. It's in the middle of Italy and is very famous about its art. That's why there is one of the most famous Duomo in, I think, all around the world, probably in Italy, that's for sure. And is made by Brunelleschi. Is something huge and very big. It's actually bigger if you see it in the real life. And yeah, that's it. That's a picture of Florence from the height, so from a hill, because it's all surrounded by hills. And it's very characteristic because of all the red roofs all over it. It's actually unique, I think. It's worth to see it. This is another very important bridge. It's very old, and there still are a bunch of shops over there with old guys. Well, that's Rome. Is the capital city of Italy, and is, I think, the best one. It's full of monuments, as we will see. Like the first one, which is the Colosseum. I guess you guys know it. I wish. It's actually huge and the most famous. They used to do battles and some games in it during the Roman Empire. The second one is the Fountain of Trevi. It's a very big fountain and full of lights, water, but it's huge and full of tourists. Very crowded. Okay, this is a picture of all the different monuments from the Roman Empire. This is Cappella Sistina. It's a church which the roof is all made by paintings. I think you need to reserve it, like book it, probably 2 months before going there. Alright, this is a very important monument. It was made after the World War I, World War II probably, I don't remember. Alright, here is Venice, the last, but for me, I don't know, it's gonna play with Rome about who is the best. Well, Venice is a weird city, it's beautiful, but instead of the roads, there are like little rivers, so you can't find actual cars there, just little boats, as we can see like later, like here. So Here's the boat, which is called gondola, and tourists can book a trip over here, and you can just sail around this narrow street. These are all houses, so if you buy an house in Venice, you can actually have an house in front of the water, and yeah, it's unique. That's another picture with the restaurants on the river. I wish you enjoyed it and you liked the cities. Maybe you can let me know if you see me in the hallways, which was your favorite.
Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith announced that the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs that they will be giving a $190,000 grant to Indiana communities for planning through the Community Development Block Grant Program.
One of these communities that will receive a grant is Elnora.
Elnora will be receiving a grant of $90,000.
This grant will be used for infrastructure to better the town.
The OCRA CDBG funding originates from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and is administered for the state of Indiana by the OCRA.
Congratulations to Elnora for receiving this grant.
Was that lightning?
And thunder.
It must be time for the weather.
Welcome back to the weather. I don't know about you, Cobe, but I'm feeling excellent about this week.
Indeed, Brown. It's looking to be a little bit hairy this weekend with all this weather.
Rain ain't the only thing coming down this weekend, though. Easter Bunny's making his way into town, too.
Man, Brown, you're on a roll. No need to explain.
Well, Cobe, you're looking mighty yoked yourself. Have you been working out?
Yeah, I've been hitting the gym a little bit and trying to do a little bit of exercising.
Speaking of eggs, why do Easter eggs like to hide?
Don't know why.
Because they're a little chicken.
Jockey.
All right, let's get into it. Friday, April 18th. Partly cloudy skies will give way to cloudy skies in the afternoon. Winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. During the night, there is potential for severe thunderstorms with an 80% chance of rain. Expect a high of 78 and low of 60.
Moving on to Saturday, April 19th. Cloudy with periods of rain. Winds southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, with rainfall near half an inch. During the nighttime, overcast with rain showers at times. High will be 65 and the low at 51.
Then on Sunday, showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon. Winds 10 to 15 miles an hour with a 40% chance of rain. High of 74, low of 60.
Following Easter Sunday, we're looking at Monday, April 21st. Cloudy with light rain in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Winds southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour, a high of 70 and a low of 52.
On Tuesday, April 22nd, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a few clouds from time to time. The high will be 74 and the low 53.
Then on Wednesday, April 23rd, a shower or two around the area in the morning, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. Chance of rain at 30%. At nighttime, partly cloudy skies early will give way to occasional showers later during the night. A high of 72 and a low of 55.
Wrapping up the week on Thursday, April 24th. Chance of a shower or two during the morning, followed by partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles an hour, with a high of 72 and low of 54. Well, that's all for your weather this week. Let's hop back to Miller and Ava.
Thanks, Kobe and Braylon. Last Saturday, April 12th, there was many events happening at the baseball and softball sports complex.
There was the Alumni Day, Flyo Appreciation Day, and a cancer game in support for alumnus Aaron Baker.
At 9:45, the Fryo Minor League walked out with the varsity girls during lineup announcements.
The first game started at 10 with the varsity going against Mitchell. Then the alumni were recognized at 11:45 before the second game.
The second game, which started at 12, with Mitchell against Woodland Memorial.
The Fryo Major League girls walked out with the varsity team before the third game at 1:45, and the game started at 2 with varsity against Wood Memorial.
During these games, fans donated toward Aaron's fight at the concession stands.
Thank you for coming out and showing support to your Cougars.
Now, over to Aiden and Abe to look at this past week's scores. Howdy, Cougars. Welcome back to Cougar Sports. This week, my co-host is Colin Loninger.
Heck yeah. There we go. We had an action-packed week of sports, so let's get into it.
Over the weekend, the varsity boys baseball team lost a tough battle against the Reveille Patriots 1-4 on Saturday.
Friday night, Indy played North Central and won 14-1. Schwarzentrooper, Smith, and Rodich combined on the mound, only allowing 2 hits and collected 10 strikeouts. Rodich, Schwarzentrooper, and Smith also led the offensive attack with 2 hits apiece.
The girls softball team also had 2 games at North Daviess on Saturday.
First game on Saturday, Indy played Mitchell and won 12-4. Adeline Rodich, Tori Smith, and Haley Graber combined efforts on the mound, allowing 8 hits and registering 6 strikeouts. Adeline Rodich led the offense with 1 home run, 2 hits, 3 RBI. Olivia DeHare, Danica Larimore, Hannah Yoder, and Madeline Knapp each combined 1 hit.
Then, Indy played Wood Memorial. Wood Memorial laid an egg, losing 9-0. Reese Schwarzentrooper, Tori Smith pitched, allowing 5 hits and striking out 6. Olivia DeHare led the offense with 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Adeline Rodich had 2 hits and 4 RBIs. Casey Freed, Madeline Knapp, and Riley Stahl registered 1 hit each.
The Lady Cougar softball team traveled to Washington to play the Hatchets for a JV and varsity contest. The JV won 17-0, dominating the Hatchets. The varsity followed up the JV strong performance with a 5-0 victory.
That means 2 laid eggs.
Tuesday, the North Daviess varsity baseball team played at home against Tecumseh. They fell short in a tough battle, 6-7.
The girls Cougar tennis team had to make 2 trips to Bedford North Lawrence to get the win, but came out with a win in each spot, going 5-0. Also, big congratulations to Mia Dalrymple, Graceland Byer, Malia Loniger, and Emma Taylor on their doubles match wins. You know what that means? Another egg.
Heck yeah. The girls Cougar tennis team played Wood Memorial Monday evening and came out with a 5-0 victory. You know what that means?
Another egg. The girls Cougar tennis team came out with another 5-0 win versus Pike Central Tuesday evening. You know what that means? Another egg.
Monday, the boys golf team played at High Point against North Knox, Shoals, and North Central. The Cougars scored a score of 188 on their first match of the year. They placed second behind North Knox. Kobe Lowhider had the lowest score of the match, earning him medalist of the match.
Tuesday, the golf team played at High Point against Lighthouse Christian. They won with a final score of 188, compared to Lighthouse Christian's 247. Kobe won medalist honors with a low score of 39. The varsity track was in action Tuesday at ND. Sky Knapp placed first in 300-meter hurdles, and Mason Rathgaber placed first in the 800-meter run. The junior high boys played at South Knox Tuesday night. The A team tied 8-8, and the B team won 11-0. That's another egg.
Here are the scores from Wednesday and Thursday.
That was a lot of eggs this week. We'll see you, Cougs, next week. Thanks, Aiden and Abe.
Daviess County Friends for Animals is getting ready to hold one of the biggest fundraisers, being an online auction.
The auction will be held on their Facebook page from June 1st through June 7th.
Items will range from local donations to organized donations from across the state that cater cats and dogs.
All money and donations will help people take care of their pets and give them the proper care that they need.
If you want to get involved or learn more information about the auction, contact Brannon at 812-486-7306.
And Jason.
Welcome back to How To with JC and Jesse.
And today we're going to show you guys how to decorate Easter eggs. Hey look, there's an Easter egg.
No way.
Get 2 cups of water and fill them halfway. And then next add vinegar, a drop in each. And then after your vinegar, you add a couple of drops of your food coloring into the water. The same with the other color. Next, you add the eggs gently in the water and food coloring.
Let them sit for at least a few minutes, depending on how dark you want them to be.
Now that the eggs are colored, you can design them in many different ways using a white crayon, plastic decals, and pretty much any way you want to design them.
Instead of coloring eggs, you could always make a homemade Easter wreath or a homemade Easter basket.
Easter isn't just about decorating or finding eggs around the yard. It's more about Jesus, the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the rebirth.
That's all for this week.
We'll see you guys next week. And JC.
Now, let's shift gears and take a look at some important announcements for this week ahead.
North Daviess Prom Enchanted Evening will have a grand march on Saturday, April 26th at 6 p.m. in the high school gymnasium. Doors will open at 5 p.m. Monday, April 28th will be a 2-hour delay.
The North Daviess Music Department will host their annual spring concert on Thursday, May 8th at 6:30 p.m. in the high school auditorium. Senior Awards will be held Sunday, May 11th in the high school auditorium at 2 p.m. The 2024-2025 school year departmental awards will take place on Thursday, May 15th in the auditorium. Junior high awards will begin at 9 a.m. and high school awards will begin at approximately 10:05 a.m. The Student Council will host their biannual Spring Fling event with games, prizes, food, and more on Thursday, May 15th. There will be early release at 1 p.m. on May 21st and May 22nd. The North Daviess class of 2025 will have their commencement ceremony on Friday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. in the high school gymnasium. It isn't too late to consider being a member of the North Daviess Color Guard, which functions as one of the visual elements of the Marching Cougars. For more information, please see Ms. Giesler or stop by the band room to see Mr. Vandermill. The Miss Daviess County and Teen Miss Daviess County contest will be held on Tuesday, June 17th at the Daviess County Fairgrounds. Miss Daviess County is for ages 18 to 21, and Teen Miss is for girls ages 14 to 17. You must be a Daviess County resident, never married, and no children. Private interviews start at 10 a.m. and the public competition begins at 1 p.m. The deadline to enter is May 13th. The Junior Miss Daviess County contest will be held on Wednesday, June 18th at 5 p.m. at the Daviess County Fairgrounds. This contest is for girls ages 8 to 13. Contestants must arrive at the bandstand by 3:45 p.m. to get their shirt and number. Private interviews begin at 4 p.m. Deadline to enter is June 4th.
That's all for today's episode of Cougar News.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week, and roll Cougs.
Bang.
No, you can't go to the bathroom at the same time as your best friend. I know you'll just meet up and listen till the lesson ends. You say it's all about your bladder, but I know it's just for chatter. A bathroom trip is code, you see, for meet you there, wait up for me. No, you